is it now? April 21, and this is Avid Cyclist. I'm Gary Robinson, and today we have a guest, Reid Delman, with Gemini Adventures. Um, if you haven't heard of them, they put on 3 major cycling events here in Colorado. The Adventure Fest is coming up, Wild Horse Gravel after that, and towards the end of the season, Crooked Gravel up at Winter Park. And with no further ado, I want to introduce everybody to Reid Delman. Hey, Reid, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. So tell us a little bit first about everything that Gemini Adventures does.
All right. Well, started 23 years ago. So I've been putting on events for 23 years. Started out in ultra running. And I think as my body has kind of needed breaks from the ultra running, I've gotten more into the biking and the mountain biking and gravel and all that. So kind of taking that same flow as my body.
Yeah, the running, I ran when I was young, and it takes a little bit of a toll on you. I wish I could still run. My knees don't do that anymore. They just don't work in that motion. So you do road. Do you do road also, or do you do any gravel yourself?
We don't have any road.
No. But do you do any?
I'm personally not a road rider. No.
Okay. And I'm the opposite way. I started road my whole life, and now I'm getting into more gravel, mountain, and maybe even cyclocross. Who knows? Yeah. But road is not real attractive to me anymore.
Way to connect up rides.
Mm-hmm. So the next event we have coming up, and this is really coming up on us, just in a few weeks, Adventure Fest in Fruta. It's a 2-day event, is my understanding. Yep. So tell us a little bit about that. What's going on?
So it's a combination of different events, different races, and it's out at 18 Road in Fruta. And so just about everybody camps. You know, some people will make the commute, but it's just this big festival where everybody reserves campsites, and we have all kinds of things. We're adding things in this year that we haven't had before. We're going to have a disco glow stick parade. And we're good.
Okay. Tell me, hold it. You can't just skip over that one. Tell me a little bit about
it. Our first year for it. So we're excited, and it's exciting to see how it's going to go. But it's going to be runners and mountain bikers and gravel riders, and just basically ride through the camp at night with some music playing and your best disco and neon, glow sticks, and we'll provide some glow sticks, and people will bring their own. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We also have a women's gravel clinic. We have all kinds of stuff. We have food trucks out there. What else? It's just going to be a lot of fun. Oh, we have trivia with prizes.
Okay.
We have bonfire awards. So the awards, so this is actually all on Saturday night. So that's before our gravel race, but it's from our mountain bike race the day before. And a lot of people come out and they do both the mountain bike and the gravel race, or they do the mountain bike and the half marathon.
So which races are which days, real quick?
So the mountain biking is on Saturday. We have 2 bike races on Saturday, and then we have a gravel ride and a gravel race and a half marathon on Sunday.
Okay. That sounds like a ball.
Yeah. It's always.
So I get to bring my gravel and my mountain bike up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yep.
So is it the same price to compete, or if you want to do multiple events there, is it one price, or is it different price per event that you register for?
Different prices per event. And then count for multiple events.
Okay, cool. And how many people are going to be, or I should say, how many exhibitors are going to be at the expo? You said, talk to me about the expo a little bit.
Pretty small because we're out of town. It'll be a dozen or so exhibitors, just depending on who shows up. And, we have some on the books, and we have our new hydration and nutrition sponsor, and they'll be out there. It's Precision. So I've been using that lately, and it's good stuff.
I'm not familiar with it really. I've heard the name. I've heard of it. Yep. What is making it so cool?
For me, it's tasty. you know, it's content also.
Well, so are waffles, but what does it make?
Well, it doesn't have the simple sugars, and it's very high salt content for people
Okay.
when you're out there for a long time. And yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay. And they are going to be one of the exhibitors?
Yes, they're going to be out there. Yep.
Excellent. Are they also a sponsor of the event?
They are. Yep. Yeah. So that's what we have out on the course.
Well, that sounds like a blast. So it's going to be 10th and 11th. What night is the disco night? Is that the first night, the 10th?
That is the night, Saturday night, the 10th. Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Also camping Friday night for those, for anybody that wants to come out. Then you have to reserve camping for this one. So
okay.
So we've probably got about 10 sites left or so out of 60.
Mm-hmm. How many participants do you expect at the event?
Well, over the whole weekend, it'll be about 500.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's a nice small event. But well, we also have a canyoneering where you could purchase that separate, and you go out with guides and they take you rappelling into a canyon and just everything about adventure.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And then the next event you've got coming up with us is May 17th, Wild Horse Gravel in Dubuque.
Yep. Dubuque. Yeah.
Dubuque, excuse me. Dubuque. Where did I get Dubuque from? So where exactly is Dubuque?
Dubuque is just outside of Grand Junction.
So you're still right in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. Yep. Very similar atmosphere there, but the town itself is small. So if you want to stay in a hotel, you have a little bit of traveling, but there we have free camping, and it's all out at the High Lonesome Ranch, which is it's a really cool place. They're doing some construction this year, so there aren't as many cabins as there has been in the past. But there's free camping, open fields, and we have everything there for you. We provide a breakfast Saturday morning and a hot meal when you finish when you come back from your ride too. So then that's all out of a food truck. And if you want to purchase some meals for family, you can do that too. It's really self-contained up at the High Lonesome Ranch.
It looks like you've got a 30 and a 65-mile course.
Yep. And
when you talk about gravel, how aggressive would you say those are? Are they pretty much, are they fairly aggressive? Could a novice do them, or, somebody that's...
They could. And the thing with this one is a lot of this is on private land. So you can't ride it any other time of year other than our event. And so that makes it really exciting. The downside of it is if you have a rainy year, the roads could get pretty rough. And some people do it on mountain bikes. You'll want a pretty fat tire depending on the year. Some years it's nice and nicely graded. So far this year, well, it's tough to tell. They're telling me that they're going out there to grade it. And if they grade it right before our event, it's going to be nice and smooth. Otherwise, I think you kind of have to count on a little rougher terrain as far as gravel goes.
What's the climbing like? How much elevation are we talking?
Sorry, I don't have that number off the top of my head.
You don't have to give me an exact number.
Yeah, it's around 5,000, 6,000.
For the 65 mile?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there much elevation in the 30?
There's a decent climb, but nothing huge.
Okay.
The 65 has a big. Actually, they both make the big climb up to the peak, which it's not in my brain right now. Sorry, but so they both have a nice big climb in the middle of it, and then the 65 has more climbing throughout. The 65 has a rolling start, about 10 miles of good, easy downhill to get you to the town of Dubuque. And then the timing starts after the town. Okay.
Now, is it something that's is it a little bit, I don't want to say like a Fondo, if you want to just ride it or instead of race it, can you?
For sure. I would suggest that for the 30.
Okay.
Just because it's a little, it would take some time to get through it.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure. We have all kinds of riders out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. The top people, there's money, so the top people are racing pretty good.
Sure.
Thing has a country western theme because we're out at the ranch, and there again we're putting in. We have a glow stick parade that night too. We have trivia and a lot of little things around the camping. So if you're out there camping, it's a great time at night too.
Oh, that's great. If you don't want to camp, is there any place nearby, or are there any Airbnbs like within driving distance?
It's about a 45-minute drive
Okay.
at anywhere, so not too bad. But if to partake in the festivities,
That'd be a long trek home.
yeah, and we're providing beer, so it's one or the other.
Do you have a beer sponsor?
Nope, not this. So we're not expecting people to go out there and get hammered,
No.
but
I was going to say it's close by, but when I was out there a year ago, Palisade Brewery.
yeah, okay.
Oh my gosh. Here's a little plug for them. I have no dog in this fight. No, I'm not an owner or anything like that. They do a smoked pastrami sandwich. They actually have their smoker outside. So they do smoked corned beef and smoked pastrami, which is amazing. And then they have this, and I'm a sucker for this. I love imperial stouts.
Okay.
I loved them in the past. They were my favorite. And they had one there that it was a Russian Imperial bourbon barrel aged.
Nice.
And it was the smoothest thing in a beer I've ever had in my life. It was the type of thing you would sip for an hour, but I sipped it a little faster. And then only to find out it was 17% alcohol.
Okay.
One's enough. It was like one of those. I'm like, here, honey, here are my keys. It was, boy, shout out to that for a craft brewery. I don't think I've ever had a craft brewery that had food in-house like that. It was unbelievable.
That's close by. So great.
Yep. We'll put that on the bucket list. But yeah, that pastrami sandwich was amazing. And the last but not least, obviously coming up August 2nd, which is a very busy weekend in cycling. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
One more piece on the Wild Horse. This year we have a half marathon on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Really trying to make our events family friendly.
Okay.
With the whole family, somebody could do the ride on Saturday, and then you have, fun stuff at night, and then the half marathon on Sunday.
And I take it, is that going to be on some of the course, or is that in a totally different area? Is that some of the course where the riders are?
Yep. So it's a mix of the gravel roads and like 2-track running.
Okay.
On dirt.
Oh, cool. And then Crooked Gravel coming up, not really coming up. It's on the far end of the summer, but on August 2nd, which is a busy weekend. And that whole time of year is a busy weekend in cycling. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I should say that whole time of year, that month is so busy in August. So much stuff going on. But Crooked Gravel is an icon here in Colorado for gravel riders. It's been around forever, way before gravel was ever popular.
That's right. Yeah. It wasn't called gravel back in that.
No.
Yeah. So we're excited to have that. This is our second year with that event, and so very different from Wild Horse. It's in the town of Winter Park, and the roads are most of it is just crazy champagne gravel, nice, smooth. There's a bit of road in there also, and it really gets you up into the mountains. And we know that the that some August gravel races have changed their dates. So we're a good high country gravel race in August now.
Great.
And yeah, it's exciting. So when it's hot down low, great way.
That was how long is you guys have had it for 2 years, is my understanding.
Right.
And how long has that race been around?
Be honest, I don't know. It's a bit we had some trouble figuring that out. It's been around for a while though. Um, I think it started out very casual, and there weren't very good records kept for some time. And
Because
but yeah,
wasn't it originally just a kind of a fun ride that started as a basically a well, like any group ride starts. It starts as a group ride and becomes a race as soon as the second guy shows up. But wasn't that one that was basically started by Ron Kiefel and some friends?
yep, a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it started out as what we in running call a fat ass, right?
Okay.
Where you're not paying and there's no awards and all that, and then it just kept developing because it's a great course, and it's a great area and great time of year. So it built on itself and into what it is today.
Has the course changed, or is it pretty much the original course?
It's generally the same course.
Generally,
Yeah. As it grows, we have to change it. For safety and things like that.
sure. Have you added any? Is there an expo or anything going on with this one, or just the race?
Yeah, it's about the same. It's a small, intimate expo.
Mm-hmm.
We have food that we provide, hot food afterward,
Great.
and yeah, and it's right in the town of Winter Park, so all the amenities are there versus, our Debec or Fruta, races. So yeah, there's a lot more activity around town too,
Okay.
and it's Hideaway Park. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a park there, and what we're working on this year, I guess I'll announce it now, and hope that we get it. We're getting it going. The finish line is actually about a mile away from our arch. So you finish the timing, and then you have to ride back into town and under the arch. And when you cross under the arch, that's where you get your meal ticket and all of that. So, so the actual race finishes a little ways away from where we are.
Okay.
But to come in and cross the finish line under the arch, for safety, so we know where everybody is. But this year in Hideaway Park, they have the big, huge screens that they use for concerts, and we're going to live stream the timing finish.
Oh, cool.
So you can see when your racer actually finishes the race, and then wait for them to cross under the arch.
Oh, that's going to be very cool.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. Oh, and we have, I just remembered, we have a movie festival Friday night at the park also.
What movies?
I don't know. They're still working with a movie festival company.
Okay.
So
Are you going to try to do cycling movies or?
No, just entertainment. Let people relax.
Okay. Well, there's some great entertaining cycling movies, excuse me.
Yeah.
Breaking Away, one of my favorites.
Right. I love that movie. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're trying to figure out if we should have it cycling related or not.
Mm-hmm.
And, or family friendly or different things. So we decided to go with this festival.
Well, it sounds like all three events are pretty much family friendly.
Very much. Yep.
Cool.
We actually have a marathon on Sunday in the same area for the Crooked Gravel.
Wow.
Crooked Marathon. So
are you putting that one on?
We're putting that on also. Yeah.
Is that on? Okay. That is. And then you do some other running events even outside of Colorado. What are those events that Adventure does?
Yeah, we do. We have really our only event now that's purely running is our Enchanted Forest Trail races in Red River, New Mexico.
Okay.
The cool little town. It's near Taos, and but it's its own place, and the people come out from from all over to run those trails. And really what we have, they have the ski slope right in town, and we have you run straight up the ski slope, no trail. So for the marathon, that comes in at mile 20. At mile 20, you run straight up the ski slope. And then once you get to the top of that, then you get back on trail.
That's vicious.
It
That's
is.
just, I ran marathons when I was younger in a previous life, long time ago. And the 20-mile mark, I just can't think of a worse time to put
I
a
know.
long. That's when the mythical wall happens.
Well, it's the same for the crooked gravel. Our big hill is pretty. It's like 2/3 to 3/4 into the race, and
Oh my God.
I have found in all my endurance sports and race directing for years is that people love to suffer.
They do.
And that's really why you're out there. If you're not going for a little jaunt in the park, you're going out there to test yourself. And
Right.
if there wasn't suffering, people wouldn't come out and do it.
Mm-hmm. And perfect example is you live in Boulder, is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Boulder, the Morgul Bismarck. You've been around long enough to remember the good old days of the Morgul when it was the circuit and it was in the movie American Flyers, and in the Coors Classic. And it amazed me when I got back into racing to see they turned it into, and with all the growth up there, because obviously back in those days there wasn't a house anywhere near that circuit.
Right.
And then they made it where you went from Superior. A few years ago, you'd go from Superior up the wall, feed zone, come back down, do that twice for the Masters, and then my age group. And then you finish on the wall. And it amazed me, speaking of suffering, the wall was the whole point of the Morgul Bismarck.
Right.
Was the fish. And they took it out. Now it's just the hump in the feed zone. It's like, okay, out and back on a rolling plane. And I was like, it's like doing the Pikes Peak hill climb, but we're going to do it level.
Right. Yeah.
That was the love-hate relationship. I've never hated an incline more than the wall, but I couldn't wait to do it.
You feel so good when you're done.
Oh God, yeah.
Accomplished. You feel your body feels good, kind of good, right? But you feel accomplished and you feel like you did something.
Yeah, when you see people actually get off their bike and they literally cannot pedal. And if you're actually pedal across the finish, it's like, wow. And to take that out, that just amazed me. So I totally agree with you. We do this so we can have an accomplishment. And
it has different levels, right? I say to my staff, that when we're doing these running races, from the front of the 100K running race to the back of the 5K race, everybody here is doing something amazing, and obstacles they have in their life, and you don't know how difficult that 5K is or how difficult that 100K is for each individual. And same thing with the gravel races, the 30K or 30 mile versus the 65 mile. It doesn't matter if you're looking at the big picture, but when you're looking at the individuals, those are huge. That 30 mile is just as difficult to some people as that 65 mile is to the other.
Oh, I agree. And some people think, oh, it's only 30 miles. I rode 50 miles on my road bike last week. Different world. Different world. I don't know what, I'm sure, there's a little bit of variation on how difficult when the gravel is difficult in different conditions and how much climbing, but just 50 miles, if you were on flat rolling gravel versus 50 miles on pavement, is an entirely different world. I would say it's almost 2 to 1.
Yeah. Or
it's more intense mentally because you're no longer just taking the pavement for granted. You're always looking where you're going.
Right.
And so mentally it's more exhausting. You're moving a lot faster, you're shifting a lot faster, you're moving side to side faster, I should say. So to avoid or to work with people, and there's just a lot more movement in different directions. It's not just tuck and go.
Right.
So that's what makes it fun for me. I'm starting to like that in mountain more and more. I'm just too many, just getting away from the road just because I like now getting in gravel and mountain for me. I love it because it's like my mind has to be really focused on what I'm doing.
Right.
So I don't have time to think about anything else.
It's
It
the
is a
variety,
total escape.
and it's the variety. You know, you don't know the way. You know what obstacles you have to get around. And variation is the key to motivation.
Yep. And any weather has a much more dramatic effect on gravel and mountain than it does on road.
Sure.
You're dealing with slick roads, yes. But when you're dealing with mud, slickness, and actually being able to see through the mud on your glasses or in your eyes, it adds a whole new element to it, which is fun. So these are going to be fun events. I'm looking forward to them.
Yeah. So we have plenty of suffering, plenty of fun, you know, and things like that. S'mores at night, and yeah,
What a healthy growing boy needs.
That's right. That's right. Oh, you have your food, and then you have the s'mores.
Oh, you gotta have fun. I mean, that's part of it, man. I'll tell you, after any kind of ride like that, the last thing I want to do is worry about having a perfectly balanced meal right afterwards.
Beer and s'mores. How could you beat that?
I don't know. I don't have a quick answer for you. I could do some research.
Right.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. The events, all 3 events are on the Avid Cyclist site in our directory. We're supporting those events and plan to be there. And also there's discounts if you are an Avid Plus member, but we're really looking forward to it. These are going to be fun events. I love the variety. I love the fun. And the idea of doing a double race in one weekend, double race ride of mountain and gravel is just, that'll be kind of an ultimate challenge for me.
Yeah, we have a lot of people doing both.
It's going to be a good time. Well, Reid, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Right. Thank you.
And we'll be seeing you in a few weeks for sure.
Yeah, good. Good. We'll see you then.
Okay. Take care, man.